Hi, please like our videos and subscribe to our channel, and make sure you click on a bell and switch on all notifications so you are notified when we are uploading new videos, which we are doing every day. There is one more thing we need to do in this class for now, is where we have this button that it prints reset password. I want to get rid of that and just call a function that is going to reset our password. So later on, when we come to finish this file here, we are just going to type code for 3 different functions. So I will say self dot reset password, and we're calling this function, and let's create this function underneath. Say private func reset password. So we have to complete 3 functions: login, sign up, and reset password, because our user interface is already connected to our code. The next step is what we want to do when our user registers. And if it's a new user, we have this onboarding. So when the user is new and you register, then we have this onboarding set of to false, which is onboarding is a user parameter. And every time our application runs, we want to check if the user has completed his profile, which means we will set the onboarding into true. If he hasn't completed, we want to show him with this finish registration screen, which has a field for the user to put name, surname, phone number, and address. And there is a button here to finish registration. So now we are going to design this screen, which will be shown to the new users once they finish registration and try to log in for first time. So let's go to our login view, Command N to create new SwiftUI file. Call this finish registration view. And let's just close the left panel. I'm going to click resume so it will make our user interface work. So let's see what we need to design. This is a form with a text on top. We have 4 cells, like 4 fields that our user can put information. And then there is a separate section called finish registration, which is a button technically. So my hello world here prints properly. Since we have 4 text fields here, we need 4 variables to hold the information inside our text field. So let's create them. We say at state var name is equals to empty string, and let me actually copy this and paste 4 times. Then we have surname, telephone, and address. Okay, we have this, and now instead of this text, we can create a form. And let me just put end of form. And inside my form, I'm going to have 2 sections. The first one is going to be this top area, and then we have separate section here. So we say section, and I put end of section. And now we can put information into our section. So first we have a text here. So we say text, and then I'm going to put finish registration. And let me resume to see what we have as a result here. Okay, and let's make it bigger. So I'm going to say font weight to be heavy, font to be large. Title, and let's put some padding. Let's put top, bottom to be 20 points. Okay, so our big title is there. Now we need to have 4 text fields. So we say text field, and this is going to be a title and a text. Title is going to be name. Binding text, we put $name. And let me just copy this 3 times. Then I have surname, binding text to be surname, and then we have our telephone. It will be binding to our telephone, and finally address is going to be binding to address. Okay, if I zoom in here, we will see our 4 text fields ready with the placeholders inside of them. Let's just zoom out and create our second section. This is section, and here end of section. This section is much simpler. It has only 1 button. So we say button with an action and a label. And label is going to be text. And my text is going to say finish registration. And the action is going to be another function. So let's put here end of body, and outside I will create a func. Let's call this private func finish registration. And I can call this function whenever a user clicks my button. Okay, so our user interface looks good, but there is one more thing I want to do, is this finish registration button shouldn't be available if my text fields are empty, so that user cannot click it. So we have the second section. What I can do here is to disable it. So we say disabled if, so we need a function that will check if all these 4 texts are set. Now let's create that function. Say private func, and I'm going to call this fields completed. And this is going to return a boolean. So what we want to return is if all these 4 variables here have some kind of text in them and not just empty strings, we want to return true. So what I will do here is first let's call as a disabled say self dot fields completed, and I will put a not in front of it. So we don't want to disable when our fields are completed. We want to disable it when our fields are not completed. And here I'm going to return, then I say self dot name is not equals to empty string, and self dot surname is not equals to empty string, and self dot telephone is not equals to empty string, and finally self dot address is not equals to empty string. So once our variables are set with some kind of string, this will return true or false, and the button here will be active or disabled depending on that. So we have our two views here ready. We have our register and finish registration, and what we need now is to be able to create the user object. So we are going to create a class to save our user object, and that class is going to have this finish registration, and also is going to have a login, a register user, and also use the reset password, and finally the logout. Remember, we have that logout button here. So in our next class, we're going to create this user object, and then we can add the code to our login and finish registration views that we have already created.